Hello, guys. Welcome to another insightful moment where we're unpacking the profound yet practical insights from the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius' personal journal titled Meditations. This isn't about dusty philosophy. It's about finding solid ground in our chaotic lives, learning to navigate our thoughts and actions with intention, and ultimately living a more fulfilling and resilient life. Think of this as your quick guide to the mental tools that have helped people for centuries, all broken down into bite-sized principles. So, let's get started with our first principle. Principle 1. Focus on what you can control. This might sound simple, but it's a cornerstone of Stoic thought and something we constantly need reminding of in our daily lives. How often do we get caught up in worrying about things we have absolutely no power over? The traffic jam that's making us late, the opinions of people we barely know, the outcome of events that are already in motion. The list goes on. Marcus Aurelius urges us to shift our energy and attention to the one domain where we do have agency, our own minds and our own actions. He reminds us, if you can cut yourself, your mind, free of what other people do and say, of what you've said or done, of the things that you're afraid will happen, the impositions of the body that contains you and the breath within, and what the whirling chaos sweeps in from outside, so that the mind is freed from fate, brought to clarity, and lives life on its own recognizance, doing what's right, accepting what happens, and speaking truth. This is a powerful call to take ownership of our inner world. Think about it. Getting frustrated about the weather doesn't change the rain, but it certainly changes your mood. Getting angry at someone else's behavior might feel momentarily satisfying, but ultimately, you can only control your own reaction. Aurelius points out that nothing that goes on in anyone else's mind can harm you, nor can the shifts and changes in the world around you. Then where is harm to be found? In your capacity to see it. Stop doing that and everything will be fine. The harm, he suggests, comes not from the external event itself, but from our judgment of it. This isn't about becoming indifferent to the world, but about being strategic with our mental resources. By focusing on our thoughts, our intentions, and our actions, we align ourselves with what we can actually influence. This brings a sense of calm and empowerment, allowing us to navigate life's inevitable challenges with greater resilience and clarity. As he succinctly puts it, the tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think or do, only what you do. Is this fair? Is this the right thing to do? So let's start there. Let's focus on what's within our grasp and find our peace in that focused effort. Principle 2. Understand the impermanence of all things. How often do we cling to moments, possessions, or even people as if they were meant to last forever? Meditations offers a profound perspective shift by constantly reminding us of the transient nature of everything. This isn't meant to be depressing, but rather liberating. By understanding that nothing stays the same, we can learn to appreciate the present moment more deeply and become less attached to outcomes. Aurelius urges us to consider the vast expanse of time, both past and future, and how insignificant a single lifetime or event appears within that context. He asks, why overvalue it, especially when you look at the vast expanse of time that's come before and the endless time that lies ahead? What's the difference between living a few days or a few decades in this grand scheme? This perspective helps to put our worries and anxieties into a broader context, diminishing their perceived importance. Think about those moments of intense joy or deep sorrow. While they feel all-consuming at the time, Aurelius reminds us that even powerful figures and significant events eventually fade from memory. He mentions historical figures like Alexander the Great and how they ultimately met the same fate as ordinary individuals. This leveling effect of time underscores the futility of chasing fleeting fame or fearing inevitable loss. This understanding of impermanence extends to our own lives and even our physical bodies. Aurelius reflects on the composition of the human body as a bit of meat, some breath, and my consciousness, and reminds himself that flesh, it's just a mix of blood, bones, and tissues that breath just air in and out, and that conscious part. Remember, you're not young anymore. Recognizing this temporary nature can motivate us to live more intentionally in the present, focusing on what truly matters rather than getting caught up in superficial concerns. By internalizing the principle of impermanence, we can cultivate a sense of detachment from outcomes and a greater appreciation for the here and now. As Aurelius suggests, look at how simple life can be. Do these things and you'll find peace, and the universe or the gods, if you prefer, will ask nothing more of you. It's about accepting the flow of life, understanding that change is inevitable, and finding our footing in the present moment, rather than clinging to what was or worrying about what will be. Principle 3. Live according to nature. This principle encourages us to align our lives with our rational nature and the natural order of the universe. For Aurelius, as rational beings, our inherent nature is to reason, to act virtuously, and to cooperate with others. Living in accordance with this nature is the path to fulfillment and tranquility. He emphasizes the importance of following the straightforward path, the one aligned with reason, as the surest way to a hassle-free life free of drama and pretense. This means making decisions and taking actions based on logic and virtue, rather than being swayed by emotions, desires, or external pressures. Our social nature is a key aspect of living according to nature. Aurelius frequently reminds us that we were born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes, like the two rows of teeth, upper and lower. To obstruct each other is unnatural. He stresses that human beings are social animals and that we humans are made for each other. Therefore, our actions should contribute to the common good and treat others with justice and fairness. Living according to nature also involves accepting the natural order of the universe. Aurelius sees the world as governed by a logos, a universal reason or principle that underlies all existence. He encourages us to embrace what life throws at you, even the tough stuff, because it's for the greater good. This doesn't mean passive resignation, but rather understanding that everything happens for a reason within this cosmic order and finding a way to align ourselves with it. As he puts it, everything's designed with a purpose. Just like the lesser things serve the greater, we humans are made for each other. Furthermore, Aurelius highlights the importance of focusing on our true self and acting in sync with your true self and the universe, because they're the same path. This involves self-awareness, understanding our values, and living authentically rather than trying to be someone we're not. By consistently striving to live according to reason, to fulfill our social duties, and to accept the natural flow of the universe, we cultivate inner peace and resilience. Aurelius suggests that this alignment with nature is not a burden, but a natural and fulfilling way to be. He urges us to always take the straightforward path, the one aligned with reason. It's the surest way to a hassle-free life, free of drama and pretense. Stick to what's real and genuine, and you'll find peace. Principle 4. Practice virtue. Building upon the idea of living according to nature, Marcus Aurelius consistently emphasizes that virtue is the sole good and the ultimate aim of our actions. For him, external things like wealth, health, or reputation are indifferent. They are neither good nor bad in themselves. What truly matters is our character and the choices we make in accordance with virtue. Think about it. Aurelius repeatedly stresses the importance of qualities like honesty, justice, courage, self-control, and kindness. He believed that by cultivating these virtues, we align ourselves with our rational nature and contribute to the well-being of the larger community. He states, "Always act with a clear purpose. Everything that's gone doesn't vanish from existence. It transforms, becoming a part of the universe and, in essence, a part of you. Everything has a purpose. Horses, plants, even the sun. So, what's yours? If it's just for pleasure, ponder if that truly makes sense." Our purpose, according to Aurelius, is deeply intertwined with living virtuously. Consider the times when you've acted in a way that felt truly right, even if it was difficult or didn't bring immediate external reward. There's an inherent satisfaction in knowing you've acted with integrity and fairness. Aurelius highlights this when he says, Look at how simple life can be. Do these things and you'll find peace, and the universe, or the gods, if you prefer, will ask nothing more of you. This peace comes from living in accordance with our values and doing what is right. He contrasts this with the pursuit of external validation or fleeting pleasures. Aurelius cautions against being distracted by all the noise outside and encourages us to take a moment, learn something new, something meaningful, but don't swing the other way either. True fulfillment, he suggests, comes from within, from the consistent practice of virtue. He asks, pleasure is tempting, but isn't there more to life? Think about it. Isn't courage, honesty, chill vibes, and genuine goodness more satisfying? Isn't the peace that comes from understanding the world around you? Furthermore, Aurelius emphasizes that even when faced with the negative actions of others, our focus should remain on our own virtuous response. He advises, if someone messes up, remember they're doing what they think is best. It might not be, but instead of getting frustrated, guide them, teach without the rage. Our own virtue is something that cannot be taken away by the actions of others. It is entirely within our control. By making the practice of virtue our guiding principle, we create a solid foundation for a meaningful and resilient life. Aurelius encourages us to constantly keep feeding those thoughts and beliefs that align with them. If you believe something, stand by it. Why get bothered by external stuff? They're not part of your core. It's about the intentional cultivation of our character, striving to embody virtue in every thought, word, and deed. Principle 5. Focus on what is within your control. A central tenet of Stoicism, and one that Marcus Aurelius frequently returns to, is the crucial distinction between what lies within our power and what is not. Aurelius emphasizes that our thoughts, judgments, intentions, and actions are within our control, while external events, other people's opinions, our physical health, and the future are largely not. He advises us to direct our energy and attention towards the realm of our influence, rather than wasting it on things we cannot change. As he states, if something's within your control, handle it. If it isn't, why complain? If you can change the root cause, great. If not, try to manage the outcome. If that's not possible, then complaining won't help. This principle offers a pathway to greater peace of mind and resilience in the face of life's inevitable challenges. Consider how often we become frustrated or upset by external circumstances, a traffic jam, someone's rude behavior, or an unexpected setback. Aurelius would argue that while we cannot always control these events, we can absolutely control our reaction to them. He suggests, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. Our interpretation of events is key, and we have the power to choose how we frame them in our minds. This focus on inner control extends to our desires and fears. Aurelius encourages us to moderate our desires for external things and to confront our fears by understanding their nature. He advises praying not to feel fear or desire or grief, suggesting that our inner emotional landscape is something we can actively work to shape. Furthermore, Aurelius highlights that our virtuous actions are firmly within our control. Regardless of external circumstances, we always have the capacity to act with honesty, integrity, and kindness. This is where our true power lies. He notes, say nothing untrue, do nothing unjust, and do not be concerned with whether people recognize you for doing so. If you choose to do a kind act, don't do it in expectation of a future reward. The acts themselves are their own rewards, and what lead to a good life, true delight and stillness, is to move from one unselfish action to the next. Since your job is to act with virtue, act well regardless of how people respond to it. By anchoring our well-being in what we can control, our thoughts and actions, we become less vulnerable to the unpredictable nature of the external world and cultivate a deep sense of inner freedom. Aurelius encourages us to toss me anywhere and I'll stay calm and grounded. A change in location shouldn't shake my soul. Is there any good reason to be scared or thrown off? Whatever happens to you is just a human experience, just like whatever happens to an ox is an ox thing. If everything falls within nature's plan, why stress? This internal fortitude, built by focusing on what is within our power, is a cornerstone of a tranquil and virtuous life. Principle 6. Live in the present moment. Marcus Aurelius frequently emphasizes the importance of focusing our attention and energy on the present moment, as it is the only time we truly possess. He cautions against dwelling on the past, which we cannot change, or worrying about the future, which is uncertain. Instead, he urges us to fully engage with the task at hand and the experiences of the present. Consider his reminder, remember, we're all just living in the present moment. The past is gone and the future, well, it's unpredictable. Our time here is brief. Aurelius highlights the fleeting nature of life and the constant state of change, suggesting that clinging to the past or fearing the future only robs us of the peace and clarity available in the present. He notes, life's fleeting moments come and go in a heartbeat. Everything's in a constant flux, so why fuss over the impermanent? Why be consumed by pride or stress? They're mere passing clouds. As you navigate this vast universe and the timeline, remember, you're but a speck in the grand scheme. Aurelius advocates for doing everything as if it were the last thing you were doing in your life. This approach encourages us to bring our full attention, sincerity, and effort to each moment, preventing us from being aimless or letting your emotions override what your mind tells you. By focusing on the present action with diligence and integrity, we live a more purposeful and fulfilling life. He also emphasizes the importance of recognizing the impermanence of all things, both material and experiential. Isn't it wild how quickly things fade, whether it's physical stuff or just memories? Everything seems to have an expiration date. When you really look at the things we crave or fear or want to be remembered for, they all seem kind of trivial when you zoom out. I mean, it's all about perspective, right? Understanding this constant flux helps us to detach from fleeting desires and anxieties, allowing us to appreciate the present moment without undue attachment. By anchoring ourselves in the present, we avoid the mental clutter of the past and the speculative worries of the future, enabling us to experience life more fully and to act more effectively in accordance with reason and virtue. As Aurelius advises, snap out of overthinking. You know how you wake up from a dream and realize it was all in your head? Do the same with the drama in real life. See it for what it is. Just noise. The present moment is where our true power lies. Principle 7. Embrace the interconnectedness of all things. Marcus Aurelius frequently emphasizes the idea that everything in the universe is interconnected and part of a larger whole. He believed that understanding this fundamental unity can lead to a greater sense of acceptance and purpose. He often uses the analogy of a single body to illustrate this interconnectedness. Just as individual limbs and organs work together for the well-being of the entire body, so too do individual beings contribute to the harmony of the universe. He states, we were born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes, like the two rows of teeth, upper and lower. To obstruct each other is unnatural. This perspective encourages us to see ourselves not as isolated entities, but as integral parts of a larger system. Aurelius also highlights our shared nature and reason as human beings. He points out that we all possess the capacity for rational thought and are therefore connected through this shared faculty. All human beings possess not only a share of the logos, but also the ability to use it. That is what makes us human and distinguishes us from other animals. This shared rationality implies a natural inclination towards cooperation and mutual respect. Furthermore, Aurelius believed that everything that happens, even seemingly negative events, contributes to the overall order and well-being of the universe. He suggests that everything that happens, even the not-so-great, contributes to the universe's health and the master plan. It's all part of a complex, interconnected web. Every event, every moment, is a stitch in the fabric of the universe. Complaining or rejecting it is like snipping away at that fabric. So go with the flow, accept the ups and downs, and trust that everything has its place and purpose. This acceptance of fate stems from the understanding that all events are part of a larger, rational design. Recognizing this interconnectedness encourages us to treat others with kindness, justice, and understanding. Since we are all part of the same cosmic fabric, harming others is ultimately harming ourselves. Aurelius reminds us, be a team player, they're thinking beings just like you, and if it does not harm the community, it does not harm its members. By embracing this principle of interconnectedness, we cultivate a sense of belonging, purpose, and compassion, allowing us to navigate the world with greater wisdom and harmony. Principle 8. Practice self-examination and reflection. Marcus Aurelius frequently underscores the importance of self-awareness, introspection, and regularly examining one's thoughts and actions. He advocates for taking time to reflect on one's behavior, identify areas for improvement, and align oneself with virtuous principles. Aurelius suggests reminding oneself of core truths and principles throughout the day, particularly at the beginning and end. For instance, upon waking, he advises, remind yourself, I'm up for a day in the life of a human. Why moan about doing what you're here to do? This practice helps to set intentions and maintain a proper perspective. He emphasizes the need to examine one's reactions and judgments in the face of external events. When jarred unavoidably by circumstances, he urges, revert at once to yourself and don't lose the rhythm more than you can help. This constant monitoring of one's inner state is crucial for maintaining tranquility and avoiding negative emotions. Aurelius also encourages reflecting on the impermanence of life and the grand scale of the universe to put things into perspective. He suggests looking up at the stars and reflecting on how everything changes and evolves to wash away the mundanity of life. Considering the vastness of time and the cyclical nature of existence can diminish the significance of temporary setbacks or fleeting pleasures. Furthermore, Aurelius recommends evaluating one's actions in terms of virtue and duty. He advises asking oneself, think about it this way. If you're where you think you should be, or where someone put you because they believed in you, you've got to own it. Don't think about the dangers, even death ditching your post. Now, that's the real shame. This constant self-assessment ensures that one is living in accordance with reason and one's responsibilities. Through this ongoing practice of self-examination and reflection, individuals can gain greater self-awareness, identify areas where they fall short of their principles, and consciously strive to live a more virtuous and fulfilling life. This inward focus is a cornerstone of Aurelius's philosophy for navigating the complexities of existence. All right, everyone, that brings us to the end of this episode of the podcast dedicated to exploring Marcus Aurelius' profound work, Meditations. We've explored the profound idea of living in accordance with nature and reason, or the logos. Remember, Aurelius believed that the universe operates under a rational order, and finding our place within it by using reason as our guide leads to a more fulfilling existence. We ought to always take the straightforward path, the one aligned with reason. It's the surest way to a hassle-free life, free of drama and pretense. Stick to what's real and genuine, and you'll find peace. We also delved into our inherent social nature and the duty we have toward others. Marcus Aurelius consistently reminds us that we are interconnected like parts of a single organism, and that our actions should contribute to the common good. When faced with the missteps of others, the advice is to approach them with understanding and kindness, point out to them where they've gone wrong, but do so affectionately, not meanly with hatred in your heart, or to impress onlookers. Speak directly to them if this doesn't work. Finally, we examined the remarkable power of our perception and inner thoughts. A core Stoic teaching is that it's not external events themselves that trouble us, but rather our judgments about them. Always remember, if an external issue bothers you, it's not the issue but your thoughts about it. You can change that mindset right now. By focusing on what we can control, our thoughts and reactions, we can cultivate inner peace amidst the inevitable challenges of life. A clear, passion-free mind is like a fortress. It's the safest place we can turn to when things get tough. So, as you navigate your day, remember these timeless principles from Marcus Aurelius. Strive for reason, embrace your social duty, and guard the power of your own mind. These are not just ancient words, but practical tools for living a more virtuous and tranquil life. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of meditations. We hope these insights have offered you a moment of reflection and guidance. Until next time, I hope you find wisdom in your own journey.